system. So with that then, I developed a questionnaire which has open-ended questions, 3 of them, which is at the back here, and I used them to interview 3 people from the coast. And I asked them, you know, the first question, in your own experience with the hospital ministry, what are some of the African belief systems that emerged in your conversation with the patients? The next one would be, what challenges do this belief system pose against success of hospital ministry? The third question is, how would you use the leper's story in Matthew chapter 8 to address these issues? So then with that, let's quickly, we can go back there. We need to understand that what is this thing we are calling healthcare system? It is the way people express their illnesses, the aspect of their health and healing. And if we are going to study it from the Gospel of Matthew, I think we should go up. Yeah, if you're going to study it from the Gospel of Matthew, we are going to use a theory known as ethnomedical anthropology. This is a perspective where we're looking at medicine or health and care from the perspective of anthropology, where even belief systems are also somehow brought into the picture. So then, with that, we need to look at when the Gospel of Matthew was being written, 2 minutes. It was written to a community that was in the 1st century. So for us to understand how the healthcare system in the Gospel of Matthew is being discussed, you must understand the social context of the time. And in that time, you see there are other healthcare systems like where 2 categories. There was the explanatory from the ethnomedical perspective, where, you know, diseases and illnesses were explained in a 2 different ways. Diseases were basically given the origin of symptoms. They could be detected from symptoms. Then illnesses would have a variety of cause explanation for their causes. With that, then there are 4 categories of healthcare system that are operating in the society during the emergence of the Gospel of Matthew. We have a professional sector where we have these medical doctors. They have that kind of origin. It's based under Socrates' oath. There is a folk sector where it was focusing on, like, you know, using herbals and so on. There's the cultic, which was happening in the temple, and we have the individual kind of healthcare system where we have these charismatic and ascetic surgeons. So that is the context where Matthew's gospel is emerging in the Roman Empire. So when you read that text of the Gospel of Matthew, you'll see that Jesus Christ actually fulfills the cultic sector, the professional sector, the folk sector, and charismatic, and even the ascetic. And then Matthew had an ideological perspective that he wanted to defend, to show that Jesus is not only a healer, but is also God with us, immanent God, and is also a transcendent God, because he not only fulfills all these, but he also stands above them. This is not to say that Jesus is cultic in the sense of the 1st century cultic perspective. So with that aspect of supporting the Christology of transcendent and immanence, then I wanted now to use that to address the questions that emerged from the people that I interviewed. I'm sorry that this time is not really doing justice to me, because the people that I interviewed, basically, according to them, they were saying that these are people who worked in the hospitals. One lady was working in the hospital, the other one is a priest. This is a professional nurse working in the hospital. The other one is a priest who is working in the prisons. And the other one is a priest who is, of course, having hospital ministry. So it emerged from them that whenever they visit these sick people, they find sometimes one case is that they would explain their sicknesses and healing from a cultural perspective. And being in the coast there, the lady was saying sometimes people would say they are sick, but when the lab tests come and they are negative, they would not accept the results because they believe since they are feeling sick, then they must have been bewitched. So after the hospital, they'll go to the other diviners to seek healing. So what came out of them in terms of the challenges that this kind of beliefs pose against Christian, health, Christian ministry to the